Okay, well, I'll go first because I'm presenting. I'm Kelsey, and this is the same $5 wine as usual.
I'm Carly. I'm drinking Moscato tonight.
I'm Alex. I have my miscellaneous drinks. I had mango wine. Currently have mango wine and a margarita in a can.
Hi, I'm Leah. I drank for the Friends reunion last night, and I think I'm out of wine, so I have weed and nicotine, but I'm crazy anyway. I'm good.
Okay, you guys ready for the first of our Pride Month specials?
Fuck yeah.
So this is LGBT animals, so not just gay animals. I do have a lot of gay animals, but also like animals that don't fit into a sex binary. I did a couple of those too, and I put animals, but there's actually one in here that is not an animal. So have fun guessing what that's.
Imposter?
Okay, so the first one was actually the question on my ichthyology final was what is scientifically inaccurate about Finding Nemo's family. You guys
I mean, I think it's because like two different types of fish cohabitating with one another.
No, wasn't it that the Nemo's dad would have changed gender and fucked Nemo?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Do you guys remember?
That's a whole different story.
Do you guys remember these big words, sequential hermaphroditism? I mentioned
No.
This was in my fish PowerPoint. The fish that I hate, one of them was a sequential hermaphrodite, which is when you go through your life cycle as one sex and then you transition into the other sex later in your life cycle. So they're trans fish, pretty much.
Wait, can they go back to the original gender or no?
Well, for a clownfish specifically, how it works is that the largest fish in the group is the female, and the second largest group of fish in the group is the mating male. And then when the largest fish dies, then the mating male will become the female, and the next largest fish will become the mating male, which is
so they can't just go back and forth. It's like a cycle.
No, that's why it's called sequential. Like you always start as the same. Everybody starts out as a male clownfish, and then if you're lucky, at some point in time, you might get to be a female clownfish. But you might not even
get all that dick.
To stop being a virgin because only the largest male gets to have sex with the female.
Wait, so how big is like a group of them? Is it like only a few or is it a decent amount?
That can vary. I can look up the exact number, but I don't think it's many because they live in the anemones, which are not that.
I mean, in Nemo, there was a ton of them.
Well, there was also like sharks and stuff in Nemo.
But there's just stuff in the ocean.
I was afraid of that.
We were the only ones that acknowledged that.
Sorry, Alex and I have been free gaming.
I could not figure out how many clownfish live together. The internet.
Oh, that's what you were doing?
Yeah, the internet won't tell me the clownfish secrets.
Oh, can you go to like the Atlantic Ocean and like go find some and ask them yourself?
If you want to give me a research grant.
I don't have that much money. I'm sorry.
Maybe like 50K.
I'm like broke because I'm a former college student and you know my loans kicked in.
This needs to be for humans though, because like imagine for gender fluid people, like you could literally just be like, all right, I'm gonna take this clownfish serum and then you could just live your life.
Yeah, any form of trans, that would be really easy.
I mean, isn't that basically taking hormone therapy?
Yeah, I'm saying it's a lot easier than having to go through surgery and hormones and everything. You can
their hormone changes all of their parts.
I mean, I thought that's what like my uncle like thought like gay people were because like he just kind of just assumed that it was just
that
like
they were
trans
fish.
No, like he just thought it was like a choice, so it's like he decided to just drink that juice pretty much.
I've been drinking the gay juice my whole life.
Same.
Yeah, so anyway, moral of the story is Marlin would have turned into a lady and then had sex with female. That's
Wow.
this one. This one, have you guys heard about the penguins? Ray and Silo?
I'm just shocked
Are
by
you
the
talking
color
about
of
two
yellow.
penguins at that zoo?
Yeah, these are the ones at the zoo. They had the baby that became a lesbian and the picture book.
Oh, the baby
Wait a
became
minute,
a
the baby-
lesbian?
Wait, lesbian?
So
Well,
Ray and
see,
Silo were
I
trying
heard because I heard a side thing that there was the gay parents, and then they felt they found like a rock that was egg shaped, and
they were trying to raise
as if it was an egg.
Yeah.
The zookeepers felt bad, so they gave it an egg of another female who had too many eggs.
So that's these penguins. That female was named Tango, and she's now in a lesbian relationship.
Nice. Wait, her name is Tango?
Yeah.
Wow, she really got tangled up in that mess, huh?
Wow. I'm not
So bad.
But the reason that penguins are my favorite gay animal, because the reason that they're gay is because gender like doesn't exist. So they have like biological sexes, but there's not a lot of dimorphism, which means that they don't look very different, and they also don't have different roles in penguin society at all. They just like do the exact same thing. What are you laughing at, Alex?
So the reason I know there's this piece of a comedian who made a joke who had a whole bit about the gay penguins at the zoo, and he was like, because part of his bit was pretty much that like he asked like some long lines of like, do you know why like they're that happened, and he's like, can you tell the difference between a male and a female penguin? And the audience was like, no, and he's like, neither can most penguins.
Wait a minute, this reminds me of when Amanda couldn't tell what gender her bunnies were. I had the conversation with someone at work the other day. Apparently they like their girlfriend has a bunny, and like he even said like, yeah, it's really hard to tell the gender.
So yeah, penguin. That comedian's 100% right. That's why homosexuality exists in penguins, because there's no reason for them to have a sexual preference when they all look identical, and also they all take on the same roles. So it's entirely possible for homosexuality to keep existing because they take completely equal parental roles. So two homosexual penguins can easily raise like another penguin's eggs if an egg gets abandoned or something.
Wait a minute. How do they pick a mate if they all look exactly the same? Because I would obviously confuse myself, or like
that's how there's gay penguins. That's the joke.
No, I get it, but it's like, like they mate for life, so it's like, how the hell do you know your mate from another one if it's like you can't even tell?
Like how they identify each other?
Yeah.
They have specific calls that they do. Like, and when you see like the group of penguins in a documentary and they're all screaming, they're like screaming, the babies will like scream, and the penguins can pick out in the whole sea of penguins the exact scream that belongs to their baby to get back to their nest. So they all like know each other's voices.
And then it's like we humans, like we scream when we're babies, and then we're just like, shut
up. Honestly, one of my favorite parts about the penguin bit was after he said that like that like neither can most penguins. So, like he like said something along the lines of like, yeah, so just like imagine like the penguin, like I don't know, like drops keys or something and like bends over, the other one's like damn, and then goes over, and then mate for life, and then they're like, dude, that's deep. So then he just gets stuck with that one.
Actually a lot more romantic than that. They like give each other pretty rocks.
That's cute. I mean, this was like a comedian's bit, but like.
Yeah, that's funny, but I don't know.
It was surprisingly an accurate bit.
I like real penguin romance. They like mate for life, and they like give each other shiny things. They essentially like propose with like the prettiest rock that they find. I don't remember what my next one is. It's a mystery. Oh, this is my favorite slide.
I'm like shocked by the yellow. Like I can't even read it. It's
rainbow.
that far gone.
Rainbow slide. Okay, so Alex knew that they were hermaphrodites, but has anybody heard of love darts?
Excuse me.
I'm gonna say no.
This is why I said that they're kinky hermaphroditic snails. They're not kinky because they're hermaphrodites. They're kinky because their sex starts with shooting sharp darts into each other. Like literally they're like little spines that like pierce each other's flesh and have like a shooting competition of like who can shoot the other snail with the most darts.
And this is sex?
This is their mating ritual. So they have a long 6-hour foreplay.
Wait. Say, how long was that again?
6-hour foreplay.
I don't know how to answer that.
What did you do for that long?
They spend several hours circling each other in a mating dance, and then they shoot each other with the love darts. And then finally, after 6 hours, they mutually fuck each other.
Wait, do not advance the screen.
Wait, is it exactly 6 hours? Or is it like
Average.
Oh, average. Okay. So it could be longer. It could be like 3 days.
I don't know if it goes that long, but
That would probably bring the average up a lot if like a random snail was like 3 days.
Alex, I'm sorry, I'm like trampling your red whatever, but I had to do red clickbait circles.
So the love darts are also like kind of a competition. So they release a chemical in the snail that gets hit that makes them like more susceptible to taking up sperm. So they're essentially having this very aggressive competition of who gets to top. So they like both fuck each other, but the one that got hit with more darts is more likely to take the sperm and
that's so cute.
acting as the female. That's so cute.
Yeah, like I've dated a sub and like 2 doms and 2 subs dating, like it can be hard, but it can also be really entertaining and funny. Like you do things like that. It's like, okay, who's topping tonight? Let's flip a coin. Let's shoot each other with darts.
Hey, Alex, your boobs look incredible from this angle.
No, it's kind of padded bra. Like what's going on?
Looks like you're at that like they look like porn, like fake titties right now. Like
Yeah.
the anime girl ones.
I think it's like the angle.
Yeah, the angle makes them look like the like anime girl, like really exaggerated titties.
Oh. Yeah, no, readjust the camera.
That just made it worse.
Yeah, I need you to like fix the camera. No, the other way.
We're all distracted, Alex.
Alex.
Alex, that made it so much worse.
We're objectifying Alex. I'm so sorry. I love you, babe.
This is the Pride episode, so I think it's warranted.
We should call the episode Alex's Boobs, not clickbait.
My last fun fact about this is that on rare occasions, the love darts can pierce their essential organs and they will die during sex. So if you think your BDSM is kinky, step it up.
Yeah, that really took a turn for the worse, Kelsey. I wasn't expecting that ending.
I mean, I guess that's a fun way to die if you're going
to just straight up die?
Well, during sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know
as
what?
opposed to like drowning or being burned to death. I'd prefer sex.
Yeah, because I definitely want to be burned alive.
That's what I'm saying.
I'd rather die during sex than be burned alive, Alex.
Hot take.
You don't want to die like Joan of Arc?
Okay, next slide. Also, definitely
Whoa,
not.
wait, whoa, it's green now.
Yes, it's a rainbow, Carly.
I'm sorry. It's a lot for me.
So this is the one that's not actually an animal. So maybe this is the clickbait slide. But since I did the hermaphroditic snails, I thought I should do another like non-binary sex thing, and I really like this one mushroom because it has over 2,000 sexes. I think it's like, or sorry, over 20,000. I think they have about 23,000 sexes.
I'm sorry, what?
We have 2 sexes, right?
Yeah.
The mushroom has 20,000. Over 20.
What? How is that possible? Sorry, I'm just an idiot human trying to figure this out.
It has like a couple different genes for sex instead of just like 2 chromosomes. Well, I guess we have full chromosomes. It just has a couple of genes, but there's like a million different versions of, not a million, obviously about 20,000 different versions of like allele combinations on the different genes that are related to sex. And so it can have sex with any other mushroom that has at least like one different allele on the sex genes.
Oh, all right. I'm surprised this isn't like the national thing where people like talk about this for like when people discuss gender, like they don't talk about this. So like gender can also just be like, because I know a lot of humans like think like gender is like just specifically 2 genders or just like physically, but this is actually down to DNA or like a chromosome based level.
Yeah, it has genes for 20,000 sexes. So it doesn't even,
Wow.
sex doesn't even have to be binary. Even like when people are like, there can't be multiple genders because there's 2 sexes, like not everything has 2 sexes.
Okay, well, a couple things. I'm gonna say the one with no comments first. So first, I learned that recently, maybe I learned from you, mushrooms aren't animals and they're not plants. They're a whole different thing. Fungi.
Yeah.
That is more open for, I want to hear what you guys think, but I think I heard there's like maybe, but this might be a different thing, but there are kind of like more than 2 sexes because some people come out with like different junk. Like you might have like both a penis and a vagina, you know?
So there are intersex people, but the thing is that it's not technically considered a separate sex, but they exist and they definitely don't fit into a binary, but technically, biologically, it's not like we do have 2
It's
sexes.
not a separate thing. Like you'll still have like a penis and a vagina, and those are still the things. Like you're not gonna come out with like a third type of hole.
No. I mean, even if they have a penis and a vagina, like they won't be functioning. So like they're not considered a true hermaphrodite because they won't both be able to function.
Oh, they don't both. I was about to feel bad. I was like, wait, they don't get to have sex.
Oh, they could have sex, but they would be like infertile, or they would like only produce sperm or only produce eggs, or like none
But
of
they'll
their
still feel it though, right? Like it's not just like a extra limb or something that just.
Every intersex person is completely different. There's a lot of different disorders.
I don't
Okay.
know so
They
much.
definitely, they won't fit every sex characteristic, and it's definitely evidence of like that not every individual human fits into a binary.
It's so hard for individuals like who are born like that, or even just like individuals who are transgender, because our society is built upon like there are 2 genders, and it's like how do you systematically change that and like make them feel, normal from such a young age. I'm sorry, that was my little side rant.
Fun fact about the penguins that's related to what you just said is there's some aquarium that's been in the news recently for refusing to gender its penguins now.
Ooh.
They said that even though penguins have separate sexes, if there's like such little gender roles in their society that it doesn't even matter to them who they mate with, that it's completely useless to like try sexing them and identifying them with a gender, and that we only do it because of our own like human gender norms of feeling like we have to separate everything into 2 genders, and so they're refusing to announce genders for all of their baby penguins now at their aquarium as like a statement.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Oh, okay, this is a good one. I'm sorry for this color of blue. It's horrible.
Wow, it's shocking.
So macaques are pretty neat. I like this quote saying that homosexual behavior among females is not only common, it's the norm, same. And then just like describes in detail how the female macaques scissor each other. So I just liked that description of them basically scissoring. And I also liked the evolution of the lesbianism in macaques because it came from first evolving a mechanism for essentially pegging. So not really, but like they evolved a mechanism where they would like hump the males to indicate that they wanted to mate. And then they figured out that it felt good. And then they figured out that they could do that to each other instead of the males. And now they prefer being lesbians. And when you like witness macaque mating seasons, you'll see a bunch of males like sitting around trying to mate with females who are just scissoring each other instead.
That's amazing.
And also, let me just say, one female will mount and stimulate her genitals by rubbing them again. Like, I'm getting a little bit,
Again, Leah, your boobs look amazing.
I'm the macaque right now, honestly. Like, me and Kelsey are macaquing it up.
That's gonna be my new hint. I feel like the straight people have gotten a hold of listening to Girl in Red and they know what that means by now. So
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah,
new
I'm so
one.
mad about that. Like, we had a thing, and then it just, the straights take it, and it's just,
TikTok made it too public. Not a code
yeah,
anymore.
Yeah,
Is it
exposed.
bad that I don't know what you're talking about?
good.
It's still
I'm
kinda.
not telling you.
Yeah, we have.
You're not allowed to know, Alex.
So this is not my last slide, but it's my last of the animal examples. Then I get into a little bit of like the evolution. But I saved my favorite animal example for last. Does anyone know what these guys are?
Chimpanzees.
No, they're very, very close cousins to chimpanzees called bonobos.
Oh, okay.
So you know how the chimps are like super aggressive and horrible and patriarchal? I don't know if you know that about chimps, but they're terrible.
Yeah, I mean, they're a lot like us.
Yes, they're a lot like us. So bonobos represent the other alternative to human evolution of what we could have been. The chimps ended up like that because they have fewer resources. The bonobos are like an offshoot of chimps that live nearby, like separated by a river, and like their side of like the jungle that they live in is full of like fruit year round and like everything they could ever want. So instead of evolving aggression, when they have a problem, they just have sex with each other and they share their fruit instead of fighting over it because they have enough for everybody. So they don't have to fight. They just have sex with each other all the time to solve all of their problems and then eat a bunch of fruit in their literal paradise that they live in.
Are you saying they're bisexual icons?
Yes, they are so bisexual that females' clitorises evolved to be long enough to penetrate each other so that they can have penetrative lesbian sex.
Oh my god, wait, what? Amazing.
Good for them.
Yeah, honestly. I should have been born as one of them.
Yep, they pretty much just all have sex with each other from the moment they're born. And you know, like I said, it's such an important part of their culture that they can penetrate each other, even as females. So I hope that I'm reborn into a bonobo. Okay, so then I was gonna get just a little bit, I have a couple of slides into like the science of everything. So like, why do the gays exist? Anybody exist? But I really like this quote saying the bisexuality is an evolutionary optimum phenotype. I would like a t-shirt that says that, actually.
You want me to get it for you for your birthday?
I really do. I want this quote on many things. Oh, I'm sure you've heard the common like homophobic argument of like if everyone were gay, no one would be able to reproduce and our species would go extinct. That was like a
Heard of
common
that, yeah.
like scientific argument too of like how can being gay be natural because it wouldn't lead to reproduction, but like newsflash asshole, there's like a ton of heterosexual sex that also doesn't lead to reproduction. So one hypothesis is that it's just kind of like an offshoot of that like a lot of sex is just to like establish dominance in your group or to like solve conflicts, like the bonobos, like they have a ton of sex that's not for reproduction at all.
She's
So another evolutionary reason is like the penguins that sometimes they can adopt other couples' offspring. They like aren't wanted, or if they have too many, just like in humans. And actually, no, I'll save that for the last slide. I have a specific example of that in another bird species in the last slide. That's a pretty fun one. But those are some reasons that it could have like naturally evolved or be beneficial. And then, have you heard about the gay gene?
I feel like I saw that when I was like doing like general like gay science research.
This was a study that came out in the 90s that found that for gay males, they all had the same like alleles in the specific gene SQ28, but it was just one study. Like people like hung on to this and was like, there's a genetic basis for being gay, clearly, and it's just this one specific gene, and that means that you're gay or you're not gay. And then like they could never replicate the results of the study at all. It was like one small sample group of just men. And most of the research into the genetic basis of homosexuality has just been men. That's about it. And they really didn't find much substantial about the gene, but they have found a lot of genes linked to human sexuality that have different alleles in straight people versus gay people. So they think probably there's like a bunch of different genes related to sexuality. So like genes for a bunch of different things, like genes for smell are related to sexuality because of pheromones, and genes for sight are related to it for like different reasons. And they think that like it's like tons of combinations of all of them in addition to a lot of environmental factors. So it's significantly more complicated than there being one gay gene. But
Yeah, I've also seen like stuff when I was looking things up that people have done like brain scans and like
Yeah, I was about to say, I know for like individuals who are transgender, isn't it like they do brain scans, but like it's just say if someone's actually born a female, like like they have a brain that's actually processed as male or something, or it's just like organized as something like that.
Yeah, people there have been people with gender dysphoria specifically. They've classified gender dysphoria as like a specific like biological phenomenon that they have found a lot of like physical basis to.
Yeah, I don't know a ton about it, but I've even seen like this was just in some of my research like earlier. There was a couple articles. I would have to look at the specific studies, but like even for like some of the gay people, they had some traits of like the opposite gender in their brain, which might attribute to them liking the same gender.
Oh,
yeah, basically there's a bunch of different like things that can cause it and different genes interacting, and I think they estimated that it's about 25% genetic and 75% environmental, and like all of the right combination of things would have to interact, which is also why it would explain why it's like a spectrum instead of just you're gay or you're not. Okay, so this is my last slide. I thought that since I went through some of the biology of being gay, but I also had stuff about like non-binary sexes, I would go into the biology of that. So the reason for like things like the clownfish being hermaphrodites is that it's useful because it's based on who's the largest. So it's like the most fit individuals are mating, and for the snails, they have pretty short life cycles and they spawn a lot, so it's easy to be able to have a lot of mates. It's good to have 20,000 sexes for the mushroom because they can mate so quickly that all they have to do is touch each other and they just like spawn a new mushroom. So they can basically mate with like anybody, which is super useful. So why do we have two sexes? I thought a really interesting hypothesis for this is that it has to do with the mitochondria, which is why I wrote the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, which is related to sexes. Well, according to this one, it's just one guy's hypothesis that if there were too many, like, you know how we get the mitochondria just from the female, that if there were multiple sexes, we could get mitochondria from like both parents, and then there would be like a competition for whose mitochondria the offspring actually gets, and it would be a huge energy waste for the like organism, the offspring, and a huge energy waste during reproduction.
They got all that mitochondria.
Fight over whose mitochondria you get. So I thought that was a weird.
That's like the fact that, like, in a way, like, logically reminds me of how I can't take iron even though I'm iron deficient because my ataxia, like, doesn't know what to do with the iron, and then I'll have too much iron in my blood, but my blood won't be doing anything with it. So the negative effect, I don't know, it just kind of reminds me of that in a weird way.
And then the other hypothesis for why, when there's so many benefits to the hermaphrodites and the multiple sexes, that most things have two sexes, is that it helps us avoid fucking our cousins. So,
I'm sorry, what?
That's bad.
so like, so basically, if you had too many sexes, it would be too easy to mate with everyone, and then people would end up being too, like, they would have too many mates and be too genetically similar, and there would be a higher probability of you mating with your relatives.
Oh, I was interpreting that very differently. I was like, how would you still know that it's not your cousin? You would still know that it's your cousin, though.
No,
And then I'm like, but okay, I guess if everyone's
not good to have
similar, you're
more
more likely to fuck more people.
This universe.
Yeah, if you were hermaphrodites, you would all want to mate with each other, and then there would be a higher probability of mating with relatives as opposed to when you cut it in half.
Dude, imagine you just have like cousins with colorful genders and you just fucking your cousins.
Colorful genders.
I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a spectrum. How else are you gonna say it, man? And they're fruity, you know, so colorful.
It also kind of makes sense because a lot of species with different sexes also evolve dimorphism, which is when the sexes look completely different. So it's like even furthering the like making sure you know who to mate with and who you're not supposed to mate with, except for penguins.
What do you mean?
Except for penguins.
Okay, I forgot my honorable mention slide. I skipped past it, which makes me sad because these had been some of my best facts. So like I was talking about, and there's more birds that are gay. So the black swans have a really high likelihood of being gay. And they actually, fun fact, when they, so they'll go and steal females' eggs after they lay their eggs, and then raise the eggs themselves when they're in gay mating pairs. And the eggs raised by the gay mating pairs actually have significantly higher rates of success to surviving into adulthood than the ones raised by heterosexual parents.
Are you saying that we need more gay parents even in what's it called? Humans?
I don't know, but it's pretty funny. And they think it's because the males are like more territorial, and so you have two birds defending the eggs instead of just one bird that's focused on defending the eggs. But they steal females' eggs, and they raise them better than the females.
I mean, that also kind of shows something that they're able to, that most of them are able to steal females' eggs.
Yeah. Sometimes they'll even go in and have a threesome with the female and get the female to produce their genetic offspring and then kick out the female and raise the offspring together.
That's nice.
Oh, yeah.
And I like the American bison. My fun fact about them is that the males not only have gay mating pairs, but they will have full anal penetrative sex.
That is fun.
I put the tortoise and the dragonfly in here to show that it's not all mammals. So there's one of the oldest tortoises in the world is involved in a long-term gay relationship.
Nice, very nice.
I knew there was a very old tortoise, but I didn't know he was gay.
Yeah, or one of the
like I knew there were some very old ones, but I didn't know.
Yeah, he's one of the like 100-year-old ones. He's gay.
Yeah.
They think that dragonflies are gay because male dragonflies, when they mate with females, have these specific like aggressive things that they do that leave behind noticeable wounds, and they found those wounds on males also, which would indicate that there were other males having sex with them. But it's actually super, not super, but fairly common. A lot of insects have homosexuality because their life cycles are so fast that it's easier to just mate with everyone that you see and like hope that one of them ends up being a female than it is to like waste time on trying to differentiate and like figure out who's a female.
Do they have
They
any?
literally just fuck everything they see.
Yes, they'll just fuck everything that they see and like hope that they get to a female.
Will they like fuck a plant?
I don't think that. I think they stay to the same species.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Giraffes are a pretty common one that they've seen mounting each other. And rams, I put on there, male sheep. There's like a certain, I think like 10% of male sheep are considered strictly homosexual, which means that when they give them a choice between a male and a female, they will actively choose another male to mate with over mating with a female. Instead of like just no females around and they have sexual urges and that's why they're gay. It's like when they have plenty of females, they will still actively seek out a male and nobody knows why.
This is our signing off for tonight or tomorrow or during the day. I don't know. We're fairly drunk.
Whenever you watch this.
Yeah, whenever y'all watching this video, have a good night. Have a great day, whatever it is. Yeah. And then
Bye.
that's our pride, one of our pride videos. Goodbye.
Bye.